Imagine a world without the internet, no Google searches, no social media, no instant messaging. For most of human history, this was the reality. This essay explores life without the internet, its impact on communication, business, and education. The internet has revolutionized our lives, but it also brings challenges like cyberbullying and privacy concerns. Without it, we'd rely on letters, phone calls, and face-to-face interactions. We might find more time for reflection, creativity, and meaningful connections. Local communities could become more tightly knit. Communication in a world without the internet would rely heavily on the written word and the spoken voice. Letters would regain their significance as a primary means of long-distance communication. The anticipation of receiving a handwritten letter, the feel of the paper, and the unique handwriting of the sender would become cherished aspects of personal correspondence. Telephone calls would become even more important for real-time conversations. Without the option of video calls, our voices would carry the weight of our emotions, requiring us to become more attuned to tone and inflection. Public telephones would remain a common sight, reminding us of a time when we weren't constantly reachable. The absence of email and instant messaging would likely lead to a resurgence of telegram services for urgent messages. The concise nature of telegrams, with their emphasis on essential information, could even influence the way we communicate, encouraging brevity and clarity. Without the internet's vast repositories of information at our fingertips, libraries would remain vital centers of knowledge and learning. The smell of old books, the quiet rustle of turning pages, and the guidance of knowledgeable librarians would continue to be integral parts of the learning experience. The business world would look drastically different without the internet. E-commerce, as we know it, would be non-existent. Brick-and-mortar stores would regain their importance as the primary places for buying and selling goods. Shopping would become a more tangible experience, involving physical interaction with products and face-to-face interactions with salespeople. Advertising would rely heavily on traditional methods such as print, radio, and television. Businesses would need to be more creative in their marketing strategies, focusing on building strong brands and fostering personal relationships with customers. Without the ability to compare prices and products online, consumers would rely more on word-of-mouth recommendations and brand loyalty. This could lead to stronger relationships between businesses and their local communities. The absence of online banking and financial transactions would necessitate a greater reliance on cash, checks, and in-person banking services. While this might seem less efficient, it could also lead to more mindful spending habits and a greater appreciation for the value of money. Section 4. The local network. Without the global interconnectedness of the internet, local communities would likely become more self-reliant and interconnected. Neighborhoods would become more vital for social interaction, support, and information sharing. Local newspapers and radio stations would regain their status as primary sources of news and information. Community bulletin boards would be filled with announcements for local events, services, and classified ads. Entertainment would revolve around local cinemas, theaters, and live music venues. Without the endless streaming options available online, people would be more likely to attend live events and engage in shared experiences with their neighbors. The absence of social media's constant comparisons and curated presentations of life could lead to a greater sense of authenticity and acceptance within communities. People would be more likely to connect based on shared interests and genuine connections rather than online personas. Section 5. A world of difference. A world without the internet is difficult to imagine for those of us who have grown up with it. It would be a world both familiar and foreign, with its own set of advantages and disadvantages. While the internet has undoubtedly brought many benefits, it has also come at a cost. The constant connectivity, the information overload, and the pressure to maintain an online persona can be overwhelming. In a world without the internet, we might find ourselves with more time for contemplation, for genuine human connection, and for appreciating the simple things in life. It would be a world where we are forced to slow down, to be more present, and to engage with the world around us in a more mindful way. Ultimately, the question of whether a world without the internet would be better or worse is impossible to answer definitively. It is a thought experiment that challenges us to consider the profound impact of technology on our lives and to imagine alternative possibilities for human existence.